Folks, for here they are.
What are you talking about?
We are controlling transmission.
It's the Citizen Show with Didi.
Bet it crossed your mind. Stay connected to the Super Citizen Show as we enjoy a great radio experience on 93.7 Citizen FM Abuja. The full package.
Of February, that's what the date is. I looked at it and I'm like, wait, it was exactly 2 months ago that it was my birthday, right? Right. My birthday is usually 20th of December. Well, not usually, it's always. I don't know how many other birthdays I could have. So yeah, I think it's more appropriate to say my birthday is always 20th of December every year. So anytime I see 20th like this, I feel a certain type of way, like, oh, it's my anniversary. Well, not anniversary per se, but it's just like some sort of reminder and say, hey, guess what? It's another day to remember that 20th of December is your month. Yeah, sorry, it's your day. Yeah, it's your birthday. Hello, people. How are you doing? I don't know. I hope that my energy is contagious enough. I understand what's going on. A lot of people are upset. A lot of people are not happy. Naira crunch, there's scarcity, but somehow we always find a way to make ourselves happy, right? And I mean, that's what we're known for. I mean, there are times and again we've been voted as most happy people on earth. I mean, let's wear our crown with pride. We will get through this, don't worry. So here is cheers to you for holding up, for smiling through the difficult times, for staying positive, for keeping your energy alive, for not allowing the water around you get into your ship. Just, it's a lot. And you deserve all the cheers and the round of applause. I promise. It is not easy at all. And I see you, honestly, I do. I see you. I see the effort you're putting in to just hold your head up. I see the effort that the heads of the families as the men of the house, I see the effort you're putting. I see how you're trying very hard to just ensure that things are working really good. Honestly, it is not easy paying for cable networks these days. Someone was doing it earlier in the office and I was just looking and it was like, if I don't pay this thing, I cannot get home. Now, it doesn't even matter how you are able to raise money to pay for these things. You just have to pay. Once subscription expires, you have to renew it. The children don't really understand what's going on. And sometimes when the energy of the children is off, the mothers would get, affected somehow. And it just rubs off on the father. And at the end of the day, there's just a lot of bad energy in the house. So you guys are trying, okay? And for mommies, thank you for holding fort at home. Even though with the whole cashless thing going on, cashlessness going on around, you find a way to still cook. You find a way to still buy these things from the markets, from these women who tell you they don't have account numbers, who tell you there is no way to transact businesses with them until you have cash in your hands. You just find a way. It is not easy at all, and I say cheers to you. Thank you for just doing what you can. See, we need to be commending people. And for the people who are honest in business until this time, honestly, today is just me appreciating every single person who is trying to be honest, who is doing the right thing. I see you, man. For those people who are not collecting neck-cutting charges on POS, I was having a very light conversation with someone in the office earlier, and the person was telling me about some people in his area, 3 of them particularly, who have not exceeded 200 naira on 5,000 naira withdrawal. They have never exceeded that 200 naira. It's just that they have a stipulated number of hours in a day that they are able to give people cash. I think from morning to like 10 a.m. or thereabouts, and after that they are no longer able to give cash, and they don't exceed 5,000 naira, between 3,000 naira and 5,000 naira, so the monies will go round. That this is just their way of ensuring that everybody is able to access cash one way or the other, and that in itself is just amazing. A lot of people are using this time to make extra monies. CBN has given directive and said, you know what, you could report, POS operatives who decide to charge exorbitant fees on withdrawals. People are reporting. Some people are still daring other people to say, okay, if you can't, go and report now. Do you know how we get these monies? I'm talking about some POS operatives now. It is not easy from any side, but hey, let's put human face to this thing, shall we? We know that it's not easy how you get these monies for POS operatives. We know it's not easy. We know that some of you have to bend backward over, like you have to stretch, you have to pay extra, whatever thing you have to do to get monies. But when you do, can you be kind? I mean, even if you're going to make profit, even if you're going to have to account for all the hours that you have to spend to get these monies out, can you put human angle, please, I'm just saying, let's be nice, okay? 5:12 p.m. That's what the time is. Okay, so it's Super Citizen at Sunset. I started on the very, very appreciative. And I just want to say thank you to every single person who is doing one thing or the other to ensure that we all stay sane in this country. For people who are still giving free rides on the road, with honesty, not one chance people. People are honestly just giving people free rides on the road. You see people standing, you ask them where they're going, and they just enter your vehicle and you're able to drop them off, maybe around your office, or maybe because they're going in your direction, you're able to do that. God bless you. See, we live in times when you can't even trust anybody. You who's giving lift, you cannot trust. You who's being lifted, you cannot trust. Everybody just has trust issues because you can't really say what the intentions of humans are these days. Guy, it is hard. But really, thank you very much for doing your bit, for just being kind. Thank you. Who am I leaving out? I hope I'm not leaving anyone out. Okay, if I've not really called out, if I've not really said anything to you particularly, maybe your endeavor, your workspace, don't worry, tomorrow is another day. I just want to appreciate everyone, okay? And you can just take it already. Just take it. This is for you. You who have not mentioned anything about you. Hey, cheers. We see you. Thank you for joining us today on the show. It is Super Citizen at Sunset. Typical. What are we to expect today? It's a Monday, so between now and 5:30, I'll be taking you through interesting events about today. Today is what, day 50? Day 51 of the year. I'm going to have to confirm that very quickly. But it's 20th of February, I'm very sure of that. And there's some interesting events that happened around the world on this day in history. And of course, there's some international events we're celebrating on this day as well. I was listening, I was listening to the station earlier, and I was hoping that it will be mentioned. I think someone mentioned it, right? I need to confirm, I'm not very sure. But something that is remarkable that we're marking around the world today is the fact that it is World Day of Social Justice. And maybe that's why I'm just going on and on and on about saying cheers to people. I'm not really sure, promoting the growth of, or the importance of social justice, rather, how people need to, be better humans to other humans, right? So it's one of the things we're marking today around the world. Hey, to you, who's doing everything you can to ensure social justice, we say cheers to you too. Right. That's not all. There are a lot of things, around the world. Hey, do you know that for some people, today is actually Christmas Day? No kidding. Oh, no, not today. Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. 2 days ago. It was Christmas Day for some people. I'll tell you about it in a bit. African communities in Colombia. Yeah, let me just get it out already. But there is more. So I'll then join you to stay with me. Yes, they celebrate these particular people, these communities, they celebrate Christmas 2 months after the Christmas that you and I know. You want to know how? Stay with me, okay? I'll be telling you about that in a bit. Between now and 5:30, all right? Then at 5:30, we switch things up. We come back to Nigeria, and then we tell you what's happening in the news today. You may have been following the news. I want to believe so. The whole back and forth about MC Oluomo his faction of NURTW to distribute election materials. Well, there's a court order on that already. It's not just going to be anybody just turning up and distributing election materials. The court has barred INEC from using MC Oluomo's faction. There's also outbreak of protests here and there, demonstrations, this bank thing, no cash. We're looking at that, and a particular body earlier had said, Senior Staff Association of Bankers, I'm going to get that right and tell you in a bit. They decided earlier during the course of the weekend that they would have to embark on a strike, but thankfully they've said otherwise. They're going back on that. There will not be protest anymore. There will not be strike anymore. Thank God for that. A lot more, okay? And a lot more coming your way, so stay with me. And then at 6, yes, the comprehensive news bulletin will be coming your way. It's a Monday, so we may just be doing quizzers today. Quizzers! Somebody will be a winner today. It may be you. It may be I. It may be someone by your side. You never know. Well, it can't be me. I can't be a winner on my own show, on my own game, or at my own game, right? That's not exactly proper. So someone might just be a winner. It may be you. It may be someone by your side. So stay with me. That would happen between 6:30 and 7. Right. And it's Monday. So yes, Melting Pot today's edition will be coming your way. I'm super excited. Looking forward to that as well. So now you have a rundown of what to expect right now. Let's get started. Okie dokie. So yes, Super Citizen at sunrise. That's what we started with on the station today on Citizen FM 93.7. And yes, one was on ground to hold the show. And Barrister Mike Akin joined him as guest. Of course, let's not forget the other parts of the show. Church Mind, newspaper headlines. Yeah, what made headlines during course of the weekend, and of course through the course of the day on national dailies, and then the big talk. So the big talk, it was about the role of the judiciary before, during, and after elections in Nigeria. How many more days do we have? Are you counting down? 25th. Today is 20th. 25th. Technically 4 days, because on the 5th day is the election. So the focus on the federal government, Supreme Court governors face off. What's going on? Naira, to be or not to be? What a time to be alive. Anyway, the summary of the conversation was that the federal government took advantage of a loophole in the lawsuit from the governors, which is why the president gave the directive to CBN. Anyway, the Supreme Court remains the highest court in the land. That is not to be questioned at all. But whether or not they can give directive to the CBN is still a conversation that would be had on another day. Because yes, they could come up and give further directive on other things. If CBN says, okay, interest rate should be raised from 14.3% to 18% as a way of cushioning effect of inflation, why does the Supreme Court give a directive and say, oh no, CBN, you cannot do that. You must maintain 14.1% as the interest rate. What happens? Maybe that's why we're having this back and forth on whether or not the Supreme Court can give directives. Alrighty, so between 9 and 10, we brought you sports, right? And then Insight came on at 10 a.m. Joseph Durang was guest. As a Labour Party, NOS, and the conversation was about the activities of Labour Party build up to the election just in 5 days' time. The structure that everybody always talks about, structure. Labour Party does not have structure. What was it about anyway? So his guest, Inside's guest was able to establish that obedient movement rely heavily on the youth population, and the potential is what they are harnessing and hope to take advantage of in 5 days' time, at least for the presidential. Don't forget, there's another one after February 25. Yes, there's the March 11. State governors and state assembly elections. That's happening on March 11. Don't be forgetting. Everything does not start and stop with February 25. That stopped stopped at 11. Insights rounded off at 11. When Midday with Mina came on, Bamidele Lobson was guest, and they talked about how to choose a career path for yourself and how to switch from one career path to another seamlessly. You see, that's the problem. A lot of times people stop themselves from achieving everything that they can. They begin to, oh no, time, I don't have time on my side anymore. I'm already this year road. If I switch careers now, what will people say? How do I get my footings? How am I going to start building clientele? And all of that. That conversation was had today. If you missed any part of it, hey, you can rush onto YouTube and watch it. Just type Citizen FM 937. You're able to catch a replay of it. Career paths should be taken very seriously from the scratch, from high school through university, and students should be lectured on career paths. And most importantly, people need to venture into what they love. Nobody should arm twist you into doing what you don't love. It's not okay. It is not okay. Then at 3, what happened? It was time for before 3 12 to 1:30. It was perspectives, and they talked about the elections, build up to the elections. INEC officials were here in the studio, and it was a pretty interesting conversation. And then at 2 o'clock there was a replay of Melting Pot, and at 3 it was time for Ernest to bring politics now your way, and he did. At 4, Citizen Sports came your way with Chinwe Pikin. Then at 5 I came on, and it's been 22 minutes since 5. So now we're here again. I say welcome. Let's see what are some of the things we're marking around the world on this day. So I know about the whole whistleblower thing in Nigeria. Whether or not we're making headways with that is another conversation altogether. But it is National Whistleblower Reward Day. Have you ever blown a whistle on anybody? Yes, on any one of these people. How did it go with you? We've heard reports how that, whistleblowers are even the haunted. Anyway, it is Whistleblower Reward Day. So you can save the economy and government and make lives better if you have information that you can drop. No Politics Day. It's the strangest one, but yes, it is a thing. It is No Politics Day today. Maybe, I don't know. We're not in a time where we can celebrate or mark this day in Nigeria. No, it's Politics Day until roundup of elections, March 11. Maybe after all those tribunals that will be happening after elections, perhaps. So I'm not sure we can't afford to be part of this one right now. Yeah, I can tell you that for free. Day of Illustrious Puerto Ricans. Women in Blue Jeans Day, it is as well. Right, if you're wearing denim, okay, that's good. SO to you. Shout out, I mean. Leadership Day it is as well. A good leader not only leads, but he also inspires others to do their best. There's a difference between a boss and a leader. Know that and know peace. Family Day it is as well. Actually, this one is celebrated particularly in Canada on the third Monday in February. And guess what? It is the third Monday in February. So it's Family Day in Canada. Hootie Hoo Day. Well, this one is not exactly a Nigerian thing because we don't have winter here. We have Hamatan. Happy. So yeah, it's like a way of welcoming spring. Hootie Hoo Day. That's what it's about. In case you hear it, you don't know what it is, thank me later. Right. Okay. Daisy Godson Bates Day it is. Listen, you need to mark this one. You know why? Praiseworthy activist who believed in fighting against racial inequality and injustice. Today is dedicated to marking her works, yes, her contributions to growth and the end of injustice and racial inequality around the world. February 20, let's see what happened on this day in history. Okay, 5:25 p.m. Let's see. Today in history. Have you ever heard the name John Glenn Jr.? Okay, I'll tell you about him just in case you don't know about him. He was the oldest of 7 astronauts that were selected by NASA for Project Mercury in the 60s, actually. If you know history, you may have heard that name before. Science, NASA, okay, right. Anyway, on this day in 1962, he became the first American to orbit the earth. And he did so 3 times. You know what that means, right? Yeah, he went around the earth 3 times. Today is Rihanna's birthday. God, it's been days since that Super Bowl halftime. People are still talking about it. But what were you guys expecting now? She's practically heavily pregnant. Can we be kind? It's her birthday today, February 20, 1998. Or 1988, not 98. She turns 35 on this day. Happy birthday to you. Not Trevor Noah, right? Oh, God, it's his birthday too. Happy birthday, Trevor. I love him. Such very good sense of humor he has as a comedian, by the way. Okay, so the volcano Parikuten in Michoacan State. I need to do the tongue twister. Anyway, it erupted on this day, and that was recorded in 1943. So that'll be about the ones we can take today. Do I have any more time on my hand? No, I don't think so. Let's leave it at that. 5:30, don't forget, we'll be taking the trip around Nigeria. What's happening at this time? Build up to the elections. Yeah, there's a lot of, fuss and talk going on about elections in Nigeria. Stay with me. Okay, Citizen FM 93.7. Be back in a bit.
This is our journey. We've had our finest moments and our darkest hours. Yet we pull ourselves back from the brink every time. We are a resilient people. We are Nigeria. And when we talk, we share our views on Talk Radio 93.7, Citizen FM. A people united will never be defeated.
to the world. Oh my God. You feel me? Now that's how to celebrate, man. Colombia, we love you. Colombia. The energy. We enjoy you. That's Orlando Julius. Orlando Julius Akamode. Beautiful one people hospitality. He said, according to him, that's the writer of the song, the owner of the song, Orlando Julius. He said the warmth of the people reminded him of home, dance, 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 like Shakira. Well, not like a Shakira, but it just reminded him of home. And it inspired the making of that song. There's a reason why I play that song. It's not just a random select. It's because African communities in Colombia celebrated Christmas last Saturday. Just 2 days ago. Yes. It's a tradition that dates back to the days of slavery. So when the world was celebrating Christmas on 25th of December, they were not celebrating Christmas. No, they actually left it for February. They did not decide to leave it for February. It's actually a culture that dates back to the days of slavery, as I mentioned earlier. So this is the story. So in the past, slaves were banned from marking Christmas at the same time as the country's white landed gentry. Marina Rodriguez, who we'll be listening to in a bit, that's his festival director, has this to say. He says the history of the festival is that our ancestors, since they could not celebrate in December because they were attending the masters, were given freedom in February. So they celebrated their Christmas in February. According to our ancestors, they said that they also celebrated it on that date, that's February 20, because it was already the quarantine of Maria's delivery, and Maria could not go out to calm down because, according to them, the one who gave birth could not go out for 45 days. She had to take care of herself for 45 days. That's what the festival director had to say. In fact, I think we should listen to her herself. Yeah, voice. Yeah, this is from Africa News.
The history of this festival is that our ancestors, since they could not celebrate in December because they were attending the masters, were given freedom in February. So they celebrated their Christmas in February.
So just imagine celebrating Christmas in February. And it's a big fiesta. Like they make costumes, they dance around the city. It's usually very loud. You need to see them dressed up. Not like people just wear the same thing. No. Different people wearing different things.
They said that they also celebrated it on that day because it was already the quarantine of Maria's delivery. And Maria could go out to calm down because, according to them, when one gave birth, one could not go out for 45 days. She had to take care of herself for 45 days.
And it just falls within this period. So after the 45 days, the person who just gave birth can go about their lives. Rodriguez, that's Maria, the person we just listened to, continued to say that she's always taking part in the tradition. It is something that comes from their ancestors. So according to her, she said her father is a singer. Her uncle joins in the festival. Her aunts join the festival. It's a family thing, and everyone, if you belong in the African community in Colombia, one of the favorite times to celebrate Christmas is February. It's just like keeping history, of course. Not like they're going to shut down when it's December 25, no. But you see this one, they own it like it is theirs. So you need to know that the African community makes up about 20% of the population of Colombia. And there have been arguments that have suffered exclusion and poverty throughout the history of the existence of the black community. But hey, do they take 20% of the population? Yes. Do they celebrate Christmas in February? Yes. Do they enjoy it? Obviously. You should see videos that have trailed some of these reports over time. Okay, Citizen FM 93.7. More news coming your way soon. So since we're already taking stories from from parts of Africa, at least we're looking at African communities, so it's Africa related. Okay, so we can as well just round off with news from other parts of Africa, and then we can come back home to Nigeria. So Mozambique, let's look at that place for a bit, right? it's not so great a news coming from that part of the world as they are bracing for more heavy rains. You see, when I talk about this thing, right, it just gets me in my feelings like, this God, this life, this thing called existence. I mean, it's just crazy, right? It was the other day we're looking at how that they were begging for rainfall. I mean, they've gone through 4 seasons of denied rainfall. Rain refused to fall. So there's drought. And then in other parts of the world, we're hearing heavy rainfalls coming down, and they're even seeking ways of tackling the heavy rains. In fact, it's now considered a cyclone, tropical cyclone. It's gathering pace in the Indian Ocean, and it's coming towards the southeastern African coastline, and Mozambique is one of the countries that will be hit. It was a president who talked about it because he had to return home from the African Union Summit. Remember the one that was happening earlier? Yes. He had to come back home in order to monitor his country's response to heavy rains and the looming tropical cyclone Freddy. So the National Institute of Meteorology the National Institute of Meteorology, I like the word. It's one of my favorite words, by the way. They've warned that Tropical Cyclone Freddy could make landfall in Mozambique by February 24, just a day before elections in Nigeria. My God. Love and light to people of Mozambique at this time. Just imagining how difficult a time it will be. Are you verified on any one of the social media platforms? Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp? Are you verified? Anyway, Meta, that's the mother body of these what's it called now? Social media platforms. They are testing new subscription services for verified accounts on the platforms. Right. Anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about it. It says the feature is about increasing authenticity and security across the services. And I think it's actually a brilliant idea because do you know that people are buying verification these days on social media? So not every account is like legit verified, legit. You'll see the blue tick, but it doesn't really mean that they went through all of it. There's some shady ways people get verified on social media platforms these days, and it rocks my head like, wow, people are doing the most just to have that social media presence. Anyway, Mark Zuckerberg himself, who's the CEO of Meta, verified or talked about it on his social media accounts yesterday, where he said testing will begin in New Zealand and Australia this week, and it will roll to other countries soon, and Nigeria will not be left out. So hey, fingers crossed on that. If you bought your verification, let me say hello to you. Let's come back home now to Nigeria, shall we? Oh, build up to the elections. My God. It's even very interesting how things are panning out in recent times. Elections build up, scarcity of naira, fuel scarcity. Yeah, I think people are just on that, on that fence. I don't know if it's a fence. They're just in that mental space right now where they are willing to pick a struggle, pick a more difficult situation or an easier one to live with, depending on how you're able to go through life. For some people, they're able to tackle their most pressing needs first. For some other people, they're able to tackle their least pressing needs first. So it just depends on what side of the divide you're on. People are just picking struggles now. Is it fuel struggle? Let me deal with it first before I start talking about cash crunch. I'm not able to get to work. People are not reporting to their places of duty because they're unable to move from one point to another. No cash, no new naira notes. And then the whole election thing coming up in 5 days' time. Okay. Where do we begin? What a time, right? Okay, so let's begin with the naira thing. Right? Because there's update. So let me just give you an update very quickly. We know we've talked about it a couple of times around the show, so I don't think there's any much more to talk about, but we know that protests are still rocking parts of Nigeria and Ogun State. Not so great reports are coming in about how that there have been protests reported in Ogun State where some banks were attacked by protesters earlier today. You see pictures if you want to check out social media. That's one place news will fly very fast. Yeah, 3 banks were touched as protest over scarcity of Naira notes is rocking the Shagamu area of Ogun State. But of course, state security agencies are calling for calm, telling people to, hey, calm down. Everything will be fine. Earlier, association of, give me a minute. I need to get that association name correctly. Okay, I think I got it. Where is it? Where is it? Hey, where you at? I've not gotten it yet. Where is it? Give me a minute. I need to find that out very quickly. Okie dokie. Where we at? Aha. Now I got it. Yes. So, Asbifi. It was a tongue twister for me for a bit. Yeah, NoFB and Asbifi. Right. Anyway, so if you follow the news during the course of the weekend, they had initially released a statement that said they were going on strike. Asbifi, in case you don't know, is the Association of Senior Staff of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions. They had announced that they will be embarking on a strike action from Monday, February 20, 2023. But then, here's an update. They've suspended the plans to commence the strike action. Okay, the president of the association said they would not be going on the strike for now, but he has cautioned members of the association to shut their doors and gates against customers whenever their lives are under threat. That's a turn this whole thing took, and a lot of people were not okay with it. The part where they started to attack members of staff of banks, it was not good at all. It was not good. Anyway, what's good is that they've suspended the strike, and they are hoping that soon and very soon, this whole back and forth thing about Naira scarcity in Nigeria, where it's the legal tender, where it's the official currency, would be handled as soon as possible. Okay, so earlier there was a whole back and forth whether or not he could handle the distribution of election materials in Nigeria. I'm talking about MC Oluomo. But there's been an order from the Federal High Court in Lagos, and they've granted the prayer of the Labour Party. It was Labour Party who took the matter to court and said, hey, please, there should be an order to bar INEC from using the chairman of the Lagos Parks and Garages from distributing election materials in Lagos. That plea has seen the light of day because the court order has come, and it's barring MC Oluomo from participating in the distribution of election materials. Now, earlier I was having a conversation with someone in the office, and I was like, wait, this thing, does it matter how this man has come out and clearly, given his position, his partisanship towards his election? Does that really count? And he said, well, a lot of times states, this thing is maybe because it's more popular because it's in Lagos State. A lot of times, this is the modus operandi. This is how INEC is able to distribute materials from point A to point B across states. They have to engage the transport the state transport body, whether or not it is partisan. And it accounts for sometimes why election materials do not get to some destinations, because sometimes these people take on this contract, but because they belong or they have interest in some political parties, they refuse to take these materials to where they should be. After elections, INEC could take these people to court, but what happens? How many can you possibly take to court? And that made me see something. I'm like, wait, so does this mean that INEC is not as independent as it should be? And the question lingered for a bit, and he said, well, if we want to be objective, if they have to engage state transport organizations before they are able to move election materials from point A to point B, then maybe we cannot exactly say if they are whether or not they are independent, because they need the services of these people. They do not have the resources that is necessary for them to handle everything themselves. Well, how many vehicles will they buy? And how often will they use these vehicles once they are purchased? Is it like they're going to be buying vehicles once there's a election build up in any state and or national elections, as the case maybe, which happens every once in 4 years in Nigeria? Is that the case? Or will they be able to say, okay, we're renting vehicles? How many can they possibly rent? So the easiest way that they do it is to engage the services of transport organizations or companies that belong to states, so they can move them within states, because these are people that even know the routes within the states, and that's the only way that they can deal with the situation. I'm like, okay. Citizen FM 93.7. Let's take a break at this time. When we come back, we may be able to throw the phone line open to take a call or two, and then we'll call it a wrap today on the show. Stay with me, stay with us, stay with Citizen FM 93.7. Seriously, don't go nowhere.
In line with our mission for development journalism, Citizen FM 93.7 presents Citizen Speaks. Citizen Speaks is a program that serves as a platform where the government meets the governed. It is a general-purpose hourly interactive program which focuses on the key sectors of the Nigerian state, including the economy, governance, security, religion, socials, transportation, health, military-civil relationships, intercultural relationships, and humanitarian services. Join us every Tuesday at 2 p.m. for Citizen Speaks and interacts with policymakers, technocrats, public servants, corporate individuals, members of the Federal Executive Council, heads of public institutions, and other issues affecting their well-being and nation building. Don't miss Citizen Speaks, only on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. It promises to be a listener's delight.
It is an FM 93.7, 5:48 p.m. Just a few more minutes, 7 minutes. Oh, why 5:49? So we have like 6 more minutes to round this up very quickly as we go prep for the news at 6. Let's take a look at some headlines very quickly within the time that we have. Breaking: ADC endorses Peter Obi for president. Fraud: Yaya Bello's cousin. Others admitted to 2 billion naira bill. Scavenger arraigned for stealing Oyo government cables. Insecurity limits emergency response to Americans in Nigeria, the embassy says. Yeah, they issued a directive to their citizens in Nigeria earlier, saying that they should be careful. With all these protests sprouting up here and there, they should be very, very careful. New Naira. CSOs to probe death of Kano pregnant woman. Did you hear about that story? It was a really, really sad one, that she died because the transfer was not made. The transfer was made. It did not drop. It dropped, but it did not drop early. That's how a full human being died. Back and forth. And she died. May her soul rest in peace. Anyway, they're going to probe, so we're waiting for outcome on that. Justin, police foil attack on station. 3 gunmen killed in Anambra State. Atiku meets Rivers PDP stakeholders in Abuja, unveils plans for state. Atiku resolve petrol crisis and others. Rivers rep assures Nigerians. Okay. Silva joins Bayelsa governorship race as a friend, speak nomination forms. I will brief my successor to maintain Nigeria-Comoros relationship, says Buhari. Nigeria set to host Sahel Climate Fund Secretariat. And this is a story that broke just a few hours ago. APC suspends National Vice Chairman for 6 months. Right. So they've taken a decision. They're suspending the national vice chairman for 6 months. They, I mean APC. That's the All Progressives Congress. Let's see, what other story do we have at this time? Give me a minute. Okay. This thing is blocking my screen at this time. Stories now. CBN confiscated and they did not swap currency, says El Rufai. CBN has been confiscated. They did not swap currency. Okay, that's El Rufai speaking. 6 days to election. APC governors and bank CEOs in last-minute rush to clear Naira mess. Okay, 5 days to elections rather. APC governors and bank CEOs in last-minute rush to clear Naira mess. Buhari, Jonathan, and others, they became president unprepared. That's according to Kuka. Okay. Naira redesign. Shore knocks Atiku over U-turn. Says ex-VP is opportunistic. This accusation of him, being hot and cold, we've seen allegations of that. Remember the time that a young lady was killed? He made a tweet, and a few hours later, he had to pull it down. He condemned, the first tweet he made, he condemned the, killing, and then a few hours later, he had to pull it down and then release a statement eventually. But hey, to each his own, right? Ours is just to bring you the update as they unfold here. Okay, Citizen FM 93.7, stay with me. More stories coming your way now. Let's see, what do we have? Yahya Bello's cousin and others admitted to 2 billion naira bail. Okay, I think I saw the story earlier and I read it to you. 2 arrested for impersonating Rivers Commissioner of Police and reforging victims. People have mind though. Is a full commissioner of police you're impersonating. Edo government extends free bus services. And how many more can we take? 2 more maybe, or let's take 2 more headlines. Oyo motor boy searching for bucket drowns inside of well. Oh no, really sad. And finally, gunmen invade campaign ground, kill 1 in Ebonyi State. That's about it today. Thank you very much for staying with us. I'll be back top of the hour, 6 o'clock, with a comprehensive news bulletin. Stay with me. I am tempted again to do okay, Jagwan and I is great. Orlando Julius to the rescue. Jagwan and I is great today. I think I'm feeling a certain type of vibe, and I think I want to maintain that tempo. It's just amazing how I feel today. Jagwan and I.